I like stuffed crust. They do it better than Papa John's. It's the only time I get Pizza Hut is when I want stuffed crust.
Recording in progress.
But no, but never again, huh?
I'll go to Papa John's next time for their inferior stuffed crust.
Oh, that's all right. They're not endorsing us anyways, so we are available for an official we are available for an official pizza though. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Kyle M at lrmonline.com. Oh, what's up, Nick? You ready?
I'm ready to do a thing.
Then do the thing. Hurry up.
All right. Welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, the Marvel podcast of the Genreverse Podcast Network and LRMonline.com. Of course, you can find us there. And on YouTube, we would like people to watch us, our ugly mugs. Well, my ugly mug. Kyle's looking quite dapper these days. Of course, I'm joined by Kyle, and we are sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. See, I even made it super quick.
Yeah, you
not
did.
Just getting rid of the pregnant pause.
Outstanding. I like it. Efficiency. There's a great episode of Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, old Adult Swim cartoon.
I need to watch it.
It's great, and there's this whole like corporate efficiency episode where a guy comes in and is trying to cut corners and save money everywhere, and his name is Divd. It was David, but he got rid of the vowels for efficiency. So anytime I talk about efficiency,
Nick,
I
it
think
still sounds like Nick.
Yeah. Anytime I talk about efficiency, that's what comes to mind.
Cole.
Yeah, Nick.
Cole.
But the spelling would be more efficient for you.
Yeah,
just NCK. Yeah.
One letter in my
sounds
only four-letter name. So this week we're back with more Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel coverage. Episode 4, Seeing Red.
Do we time travel?
Maybe to that would be the Marvels. So I guess we did time travel back in time to the week that Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, was founded. Our first episode was Captain Marvel. Well, here in the future or the present, talk about Miss Marvel. So Kyle, what are your general non-spoiler opinions about this fourth outing?
So this is my least favorite episode so far.
Okay.
And it's the closest to a bad episode, but it's still not bad. My two biggest issues, one is incredibly exposition heavy with just really like two kind of set pieces, two action sequences if you want. Not that the show has to all be action, but unlike previous episodes where they blended in some of the exposition with good character development, this was literally just like, hey, go talk to this person so you can get this information, and the audience can have it too. Not that it's
I was looking up his name while you talked.
Oh, and not that it's just that the audience, not that the audience didn't need this information. I think it could have. There you go. Could have been could have been delivered to us better. And then the other issue I had were some editing issues in the first action sequence at the train station. You can tell where reshoots are and where she is in front of a screen reacting to the other person, or even maybe redelivering lines, or that may have changed or been added on. But it took me out of it. And I know that, and this is not like a pretentious brag or anything like that, but I know that I have an eye for like composite shots, and where CG or where a green screen or in the many of Marvel's or Star Wars' cases, the volume is being used. Like I can kind of see those things more than average people.
I tried to turn that off.
I think a lot of
in my head
gamers,
so I don't get distracted.
Honestly, I think it's gamers, dude. I think it's people that and PC gamers at that who are used to super high resolution screens, densely packed 27-inch monitors at 1440p or 4K. We've been running at 120 plus hertz for ages, while every console gamer's like, "Oh my god, 4K at 60," and we're like, "Yeah, we've been there before." But I think that kind of plays because even I hate motion blur, even though that's how movies are supposed to look. I hate it. I want smoothness, and I think that's why I can notice things like that a bit more. And it just bugged me.
Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie kind of led the fight that now all the directors say, where it's like, find the setting on your TV and turn off motion blur. Because now that everything
mode.
Yeah, because now everything is shot digitally, so there is no real motion blur then, unless your TV is inventing it. Because it's not film where there's motion blur because of frames per second. Though I think they still use the same amount of frames per second in most things.
It's 32. 24. We've had this fight before. I had to send you links.
Fine,
it's 24 for film, 30 for video. Digital video standard is 30.
That's why it looks
and
clear
film is
and doesn't need
24.
motion blur.
Says you. But yeah, that's really it. Other than that, man, overall still a good show, still decent. Just a little let down in pacing. Like, you guys could have found a better way to put some of this, and even some of this stuff could have come from the clandestines. But what do you think, man?
I think since last episode defied the third or mid episode slump, I think this episode very much was the fourth episode slump.
made up for it.
Yeah. Because I agree with a lot of your comments, especially the exposition. But I also think a lot of the episode was slow because it was spent on the culture and, seeing a Middle Eastern city of Karachi, which I assume is a real place and not a Marvel place.
It's a real place. It's right on the other,
right on the
reason
border.
It really exists is it's right on the other side of, I forget which river, but the border of India and Pakistan during where the Brits. And the one thing I do love, although Marvel, you could do a little bit better reminding everyone just how awful the British were in the era around World War II with all their imaginary lines.
And they have a line
Pakistan,
about that.
India, in Iraq, when you got like the Kurds, the Sunnis, and the Shiites being put all together. Israel, like there's a lot of things. Great job, Great Britain. You're just the best.
Nani has some line about that where it's like, the British drew all these imaginary lines that separate culture, that separate the same culture.
Yeah.
And I've actually have a lot to say as that being a metaphor later in the spoiler section, that there really is what we learn later in the episode really does feel like a metaphor for the splitting of cultures and countries with this imaginary line the British drew that separates the worlds, and the fact that we see Hindi and Uni, I think, is that how it's pronounced? We see two different languages also be used depending on which character is talking. I wrote
Pakistan
it down.
has a lot of Pashto and Farsi, don't they? They might have said a different language, and it might have been one of the Indian dialects or other languages spoken in India itself. I'm not 100% sure.
Definitely. Urdu, as I wrote down in Hindi. So, because I want to discuss the separation, what we see in the spoiler section is
Pashto,
I find is a metaphor for both the separation of worlds in the imaginary line and also, all the cultures that come together in Pakistan. So, like some scenes have the Avengers are calling me. That's my ringtone. But some scenes with like one scene they'll be speaking one language, the next scene it'll be Hindi, depending on which characters are talking. And I agree with you. I do think I don't notice things like reshoots and green screen, because even if I did, I try to turn that part of my I turn my filmmaking brain off, and I've lost a lot of knowledge about filmmaking because I'm like, I don't want to remember how this kind of thing is shot. I just want to enjoy. But because I really think the fight choreography is some of the best we've seen in any Marvel show.
No, not by a long shot. No, man. Especially the first.
Well, that one was terrible.
Fight.
But I find the final fight looked pretty good.
No, I'll say this. They did a in-city chase a lot better than Book of
Boba Fett.
Because
they had a little bit of
that was awful.
A little bit what's the word? That kind of like jumping off the walls. They did a lot of it in Casino Royale.
Oh, like parkour.
Yeah, there's like parkour type scenes they do better. I also thought they did it better than Moon Knight, just as far as a chase in a foreign city. Because Moon Knight really didn't have much action in those scenes.
No, not really.
There was some rooftop jumping, and that was about it. But here we get, some parkour, some choreographed fight scenes like in alleys and a car chase. Well, a car chase of sorts, because there aren't any cars involved. The bus and whatever they call the little tiny.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bus. It was we call them jingle trucks. When we were in Afghanistan, and because they're very similar, they have all sorts of decorations painted, just like that, and often they have things that hang off them and make jingle as they move down the road. So, and
I really appreciate that they have been Marvel lately has been not afraid to, because I assume they actually shoot in these cities unless they're using the volume for closer fight scenes. Like
some of them,
we got some Cairo. They're definitely shot in. I don't know if it was Karachi, but they definitely shot it somewhere outside of the United States. Which is, when you're trying to do the Islamic culture, it's very cool that they're diving into that, even if it is slowing down plot a bit.
You might be surprised. Keep talking. I'm looking something up.
Okay. Well, I'm almost done with my non-spoiler thoughts. Just some things. That would only be spoilers for past episodes. They have a sign that calls Karachi the City of Lights. And of course, they come from the light dimension, the Djinn, or the clandestines. So there's a lot of cool kind of metaphor stuff in this episode that I really appreciated. Were you able to find where they shot? Some of it's obviously in the volume, but mostly this and Moon Knight look like they're shot on location, even if it's not in a foreign city.
Thailand, and they used Bangkok.
Okay, so at least they're trying to we're not shooting on a green screen. We're going to a location.
Fourth and fifth episodes in Thailand, specifically Bangkok, according to Wiki, and they are citing Variety. So
does that mean we have to spend at least another half an? I want her to get back to Jersey and have the costume that they're slowly putting together, which is really cool. How her costume, and that's not really a spoiler either. She uses the mask for the first time. She gets this sacred, almost like jacket. It's not really a jacket, but it's also not just robes over her shoulder. A vest. It's a vest. It's exactly what it is. So her costume.
It's probably got a different name, but for those that need a visual, it's a vest. It's a long vest.
But it's kind of, I like that her costume slowly coming together rather than a little montage where Spider-Man draws his costume, even though I love montage and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. But ready to get into spoilers after a word from our sponsor.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, take it away, guys.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Yay, dude. First, GrowGen, thanks for sponsoring. Guys, if you're growing stuff and not just, certain stuff, you can use them for a lot of home garden and growing projects. So, and let them know that the Genreverse and LRM sent you.
Let them know we sent you. So let's get into spoilers. As I kind of alluded to initially, the metaphor based on the real life history is the idea that their realm, the light realm, Null realm. I didn't write it down this week because I don't think they actually said the name of it. Well, you probably did.
It's
in that big
word for
exposition
light,
scene.
if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Is unlike Asgard, which is considered a realm. It's over us. It's there, but we can't see it in a way. He even
dimension.
Wally,
is what they call it.
I thought they called it a realm in this episode.
He uses both.
Okay.
He uses both. And that's part of Marvel's issue with their whole multiverse, because they also have used dimension, universe, timeline.
Yeah, they're getting a little.
And this, since we're in spoilers, there's time shit going on as well. But we'll
get to. I have a
see
question
what happens with that.
Yeah. He literally says he calls it a realm at some place. But his literal line is many dimensions around us we cannot see, in reference to, and the big twist, not really twist we get, is they're not just trying to go home. they're trying to break the barrier, and their realm, dimension, universe would swallow ours up, basically.
I'm wondering if it's a case of that's not their intent. They really do just want to go home and consequences be damned, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they know the consequence. I'm guessing at least one of the clandestine Djinn do know that it would be bad, but I don't know if all of them necessarily know that.
I like that.
Yeah,
the desperation to get home
thing.
No matter what. And it's very, very interesting that Nani knows that she is a Djinn / clandestine, and she's like, she's not worried about getting home. She's like, that's who I am. It's genetics. Like, who cares? I'm just living my life here in Karachi. Did you really notice that as a metaphor, or you really?
I saw it. It's easy to see, and it's a good story to tell, and a good way to kind of blend this MCU version of Kamala / Miss Marvel. You know, the way it looks, and Brian had read more comics involving this character than I had, but this feels a lot more real and a lot better thought out than many of the comics did. And I'm not an avid reader of the Miss Marvel comics or things where she was Avengers. Even right. But I'm not a big Cape book reader these days anyways, and it really wasn't meant for me. It's meant for younger Marvel fans originally. So this has it's fine. I get it. I see it.
I was gonna ask, I know you didn't know the answer, but obviously they've changed her origin completely. But I wonder if the Red Daggers, whose assignment is to protect people from sights unseen, if they are actually part of her history, the comics history in some way. They were very interesting.
Looks like he's one character, Kareem. It's the guy that she has the fight with, and it seems like they just created. They took his name, and he was created in 2016, first appearing in Miss Marvel Volume 4.
Okay, so
number
pretty
12.
early on.
Yeah, he's and all they did was take his name and turned it into an organization as well. So
they do refer to him specifically also as Red Dagger. At a certain
I thought they said that we are the Red Daggers.
They did, but at one point he's called Red Dagger as he's like running away. Kind of reminds me of the Nova Corps, then Nova.
Yeah.
From the comics. So other exposition. He didn't know that the Bengal Walid, which I'm butchering the pronunciation, I'm sure. I watched it with subtitles, so I wrote it down the way it was spelled. He didn't know, but the inscription and the inscription kind of plays into what her friend told her, that what you seek. Well, not really. What you seek is seeking you. Oh, it's a giant stuffed animal. It's a giant flying sloth.
Oh, I like that thing. Yeah.
So I love seeing DODC. I want them incorporated into a lot more shows. It kind of feels like they were wasted after Spider-Man Homecoming.
What do you love about it? Because here we just had them abuse someone and then get away. They had that was one lazy bit of writing. There's
I just
one
like
guard.
Seeing them around as part of the world.
Oh, I guess
like
that's
seeing
fine.
Sword
fine,
or Shield or Hydra.
That usage of them, one, they're transporting dangerous people. There's one guard, and then someone else comes by, and somehow they're able to get out of. It looked like they were pretty deep in the prison, and they were able to get all the way out with little to no trouble. That was bad. That was awful writing. They just
use this instead of because this exists and they still have the raft, because Zemo was sent back to the raft.
Yeah.
Not back to Zemo. Actually,
and there's also
the raft.
There's also the Gamma prison we're gonna see in She-Hulk.
Yeah. If She-Hulk's any good.
Yeah.
Still worried.
That was just lazy writing, and it really makes me go back. You guys would want to check out our last episode about what they're trying to message with the DODC and how it's landing, and the usage of them again here just shows that really I think they're doing that straddle the fence type thing, leave it up to other people, even though in universe, they don't like supers, and I think that's going to be maybe where Trask shows up when they bring in the mutants or whatnot. You know, I think DODC is part of that. I think
they haven't used up this character too much in the past.
Yeah, I think I just, you know, for reference, I think that's where they're going to come up with the anti-mutant like feelings.
They are kind of, we won't go into as deep as we did last week, even though it was fun. But yeah, they are kind of using them as they're in a way bad guys, even though like it would have been fun. I know they don't have the budget and the actors for it, but it would have been fun to almost treat like an Arkham. I was hoping they'd walk past some cells and we'd see like someone from a past movie, like
sure,
let me, like even Justin Hammer or someone like let me out, let me out. But some other things I do like. I mean, the exposition was poorly done, but I do like that we've learned more about the dimensions and the consequences. Some other cool things that were said. I have a few quotes here. I liked his line, which is very fun. Where he's like, if Thor landed here, they would have called him a Djinn. Like, you know, it's just like Thor landed in not Asgard, Norway, so he's a Norwegian god. So I kind of like the idea that's like, if the aliens are the other dimension people, you know, depending where they land, which further makes me think that the Egyptian gods are from another realm or a dimension. And
yeah, I believe so as well.
Before we didn't know, we're like, maybe they are Egyptian gods, or, and I don't know. That's about really all I have to say about the episode. I like the driving joke where when she tried to drive, the first thing she did was back into a truck, you know, just call back. And here's the last question I have, and then you can go into your favorite or least favorite parts. Yeah, that cat's stuck. Harry, be on the show. You need
so far, you only get her tail.
Yeah,
she's just out of frame,
and my cat has no tail, so good luck for that. The red dagger do not have superpowers, right?
It looked like they had some definite enhanced strength and agility to me.
Did, but I almost feel like they're doing a Zack Snyder Watchmen thing, because they never mention. I mean, they don't have to reveal themselves, where it's like they're just really good fighters, but Zack Snyder exaggerated it, where it's like these normal humans can punch through. Not as bad as Zack Snyder, because in that they don't have any superpowers either.
Dude did throw daggers into brick walls, so I don't necessarily think they are even Spider-Man strong, but
no, they're not even Djinn strong or clandestine strong. Obviously, they do some clever fighting, but they
might have something. Go away.
In the end, they got their ass kicked without Miss Marvel's powers.
Yeah.
So anything like, what's other favorite things you didn't like within the spoiler section?
I mean, not really. Like I said, man, overall it was still a fine episode. It was just exposition heavy and some poor editing choices, or even lack of options. You know, I don't know what caused her to have to refilm some things that they used in there, but something changed, and it wasn't that
maybe as the Marvel script comes together, they're making changes for that, because that's obviously what we'll see a lot of these characters next.
My only curiosity is like the the very end when she's, when the Bengal is hit by the clandestine leader, and she's sent back to the last train out of India to, where her great grandmother Aisha, great grandmother disappears from. So I'm curious as to that. I made a joke with Christine that what's her name from Russian Doll would be waiting there with a cigarette, like first time traveling through time. Yeah, it's
I need to finish season 2. But do you think it is time travel, or do you think it is a vision?
I honestly don't know, because
I was gonna ask that, but I forgot.
Maybe. I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't know, man, because it seems like something was kind of activated, and she fell through something. It looked, but as long as it lands right, it could be either or. And
my God, there are a lot of extras in this show, especially that scene.
Yeah,
like, they made that look so authentic, and there's so many extras. And I guess The last thing I wanted to bring up is that
it could be a bunch of composite CGI layered extras.
Yeah,
like,
even
maybe.
Saving Private Ryan did that, where they had a few people on the beach, and then they had more, and they composited.
Yeah, could be.
That would make a lot of sense, because that's a lot of people in a tight space, especially since this is probably a set, not a location. Maybe volume. Maybe they shot her separately in the volume, and they shot that.
Maybe.
But last thing,
it's dark, so it's harder to
tell. They give it that like we're back in time tint of like everything's more gray and stuff. And it's also a dark time period and a dark day in general as far as what's going on, not where the sun would. And it is night, I guess, but it definitely gave it like a different filter when she went back in time or had a vision. And then of course Nani confirms the story that it was a trail of stars, because I think she was wearing. I think she mentioned she was wearing it, and so the trail of stars either would have been, or if she wasn't wearing it, maybe it is time travel, and maybe Kamala starts the trail of stars.
Could be.
You know, that whole time travel. Like I have to go back and do this so that this happens. You know, different than Avengers time travel, actually.
the way Fry becomes his own grandfather type of thing that has to happen.
Or even like Terminator.
I love that I love that show so much. Oh God, Futurama. Anyways, we're wrapping up Miss Marvel, not Futurama.
So overall, again, I agree with Kyle. Enjoyable show. I think this was the worst episode, because even the other episodes with not a lot of fight scenes, like I enjoyed the ramping up. You know, her in Jersey with her friends, slowly learning, even having that training montage that Spider-Man or Iron Man or whoever would have. Someone like Thor doesn't need it, obviously. But
What would you grade this episode then, Nick?
Just a B. I wouldn't even go minus or plus. Just a B. Maybe B minus. The ending I thought made up for most of the rest of the episode. I'll stay with B.
Right now I will give it a C plus.
I knew you were gonna say that. I don't know why.
It could depending on what they do next episode, maybe eke up to B minus. I don't know, but it's at least a C plus. So yeah. Cool.
I'm ready to end the show. I can end the show right now.
Sure.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. We are just a small part of a larger universe. See what I did there? On the Genreverse podcast network, which is also found on LRMonline.com. Listen to us wherever there is podcasts, wherever there are podcasts. Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, you know, all the good places. Watch us on YouTube. Maybe you just want to listen to us on YouTube because that's easier for you to access than downloading a streaming service. I throw us on in the background like I do, even though I'm on the episodes. I often watch them while playing video games, which makes me vain. Especially since my friend was like, you don't listen to other podcasts, you don't listen to your own podcast. But we also have many other great podcasts on the Genreverse Podcast Network. Daily Cog has returned from the grave.
3 days in a row so far.
And some Marvel news. Oh, and one last bit of Marvel news that kind of corrects Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, is that Marvel will be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
So expect to hear some news then about Phase 5 and where we're headed. We also have Animeversal reviews. Kyle's, I forgot the name of your reactions, but Kyle's reaction videos. Genre shot. The Cantina, us, and of course Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. I'm not leaving any out, am I?
Nope, you got
Comic
them all.
Source is on there, but it's not really. It's on the website. I don't think it's part of the
they're on the
Genreverse
web.
podcast.
They're on LRM on online.
You want to hear Jace listen to talk about comics, and head over to lrmonline.com. And with that, Excelsior.
Enough said.